Hello everyone, it's Mariners Fanatic back with another video, and we're just going to take a quick look at the Mariners' chances to make the playoffs, breaking down the teams in front of us and who they're playing and who we're playing to see if we have any sort of shot at making the playoffs. The short answer is it's going to be very tough, but there is definitely a chance. And as a diehard Mariners fan, you always hold out hope that they can get in. Almost 20 years without the playoffs in Seattle. This is a team that I would really like to see make the playoffs. Not sure if it's going to happen, but we can dream. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to look at the end of season outlook. SOS there stands for strength of schedule. 1 being the hardest schedule, 30 being the easiest schedule. So looking at the Mariners, we have the 14th hardest schedule to end the season, which is pretty middle of the road. We play some playoff caliber top tier teams, but then we also play some not so great teams. We play 19 games at home and 21 games on the road. Overall, the Mariners have played much better at home this year than on the road, so that is concerning as we do have more road games. Looking at the A's, their strength of schedule is second hardest in the whole league, and the A's are going to have a really rough road to the playoffs. However, they do have 22 games at home and only 18 on the road. They are also better at home than on the road, but they're also not bad on the road. So there's only a little bit of favor in their home road splits, but ultimately they just have a really tough schedule in general, and the A's are definitely catchable in this race. Next up, the Blue Jays. Their strength of schedule is 24th in the league. They have a super easy schedule. They also have 25 games at home and 18 on the road. Big home field advantage for them. They've won a lot more at home than on the road. The Red Sox are right behind them with the 25th hardest schedule. Not super difficult. And the home road split, 20 at home and 19 on the road with 39 games left. They are also better at home and about 500 on the road. So looking at this, the Mariners have a kind of a mediocre schedule, whereas the A's have a really hard schedule, and the Blue Jays and Sox have a really easy schedule. And then the Mariners don't luck out in being able to play home games, while the other 3 teams have more home games than road games. So looking at each team and who they play, this will give you a pretty good picture of each team's path to the playoffs. We'll start with the Blue Jays. They have 10 games against the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles are on a 15-game losing streak currently. Now that's not going to last forever, but the Blue Jays very well could go 8-2, 9-1, or even 10-0 against the Orioles. Probably not 10-0, but 7-3 or above, and the Blue Jays are in good shape. Next, they play 6 against Tampa Bay, which is going to be a challenge for them, 7 against New York. These games are really key as we need the Rays, who are in first, and the Yankees, who are really hot right now, to take advantage and win those games for us. They also play Detroit for 6 games. Detroit is rather hot and cold. They're a little bit under 500 right now, but they have a solid team. So we're hoping Detroit can steal some games from them. Then they play the White Sox for 4 games, Oakland for 3 games, and then the Minnesota Twins for 7 games. The Jays' schedule, besides the Orioles, actually is not super easy, but because they play the Orioles 10 times, it is a huge advantage. They also have more games with more opportunity to get wins, as they still have 43 games left to play. Looking at us, we have 40 games left, 9 against Houston, 9 against Oakland, 6 against the Angels, 7 against Kansas City, 6 against Arizona, and 3 against Boston. The key series, of course, are Houston and Oakland. We need to go 9-9 in those 18 games to have a shot, and then we have to win the series against the Angels, win the series against the D-backs, Red Sox, and Royals. All we have to do is split against Houston and Oakland and win our series against the other teams, and we'll be okay. Looking at the A's, they play a lot of different teams. Of course, they play us for 9 games. They play the Rangers for 3, the Angels for 3. They play Houston for 6, the Giants for 3, Toronto for 3, Detroit for 3, Kansas City for 3, the White Sox for 3, and then the Yankees for 4 games. They have an incredibly hard schedule, and their supposedly easier games against the Angels and Detroit are not going to be all that easy. Texas and Kansas City are probably their two easiest series, with Kansas City not being a pushover by any means. Really, the only easy series they have is against Texas. So the A's are not in good shape when it comes to that playoff outlook. The Red Sox have three against Texas, three against the Nationals, three against the Minnesota Twins, three against us, of course, two versus the Mets, three versus the White Sox, six versus Cleveland, six versus the Orioles, seven versus Tampa Bay, and three versus New York. So that's kind of the outlook. Who plays who, how many games are left for each squad. The Blue Jays have a clear advantage, while the A's have a clear disadvantage, and then both us and the Red Sox, it's kind of in each other's hands in a sense. So on to my final season prediction. You can see it there on the screen. With 40 games left, I think we're going to go 23-17, and we're going to finish 89-73. I think we will pass the A's, as their schedule is just really hard. But unfortunately, I think the Red Sox are going to hold on, projecting the Sox to get about 91 or 92 wins, as they're helped out with six against the Orioles, three against Washington, three against Texas, and they don't play too many hard teams besides the Yankees, the Rays, and probably us and the White Sox. But with only three games against us, the White Sox, there's not much opportunity for them to lose or gain ground unless they get swept. So the Red Sox are still in the best position to make the playoffs, especially with getting Chris Sale back and Schwarber coming back from the IL. The Red Sox are definitely in the best shape. Now, the Blue Jays, even though they play 10 games against Baltimore, they're already at 56 losses, so they have a little bit more ground to make up, seeing as how we are 66-56. So they're 3 wins behind us with the same amount of losses. And even if they play well against Baltimore, Detroit, Minnesota, those 7 games against New York and Tampa Bay are going to be tough series, as well as the Oakland and White Sox series. They could go 25-18, which is a pretty good record for the final 43 games, and still probably miss out on the playoffs. Something I forgot to mention at the start of the video is I did not include New York, Tampa Bay, or Houston in these graphics, as Tampa Bay looks like they're going to win the division, but even if they don't, they're far and away ahead of Boston and the rest of us, that either Tampa Bay or New York is going to get that division or the number one wild card. The same could be said in the West, as Houston has been struggling a little bit lately, but I still think that Houston's going to win the division, and it's between us and the A's for second and third, as long as we can hold off the Angels. So there you have it, guys. As much as I would like to just, oh, we're going to get to 92 wins, we're going to make it to the playoffs, it's just going to be really hard to do. I hope it happens, but it probably won't, and I'm just trying to be realistic. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this little breakdown. There's 40 games left. I'm really excited either way, whether we make it or not, as this has been a really fun season, but let's hope we can get there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Mariners Fanatic, out.